On this note, I request our respected moderator to take charge of this panel. Thank you so much.
Just a second. Ji, ji, ji. Thank you all. I hope I'm audible. I think, I hope you can hear me. Sorry for starting late. Many of us have many other engagements, so we would like to be brief and crisp, but without losing sight of the things that are important to say. This whole session is about the cold chain industry in Bangladesh, as you know. This is, the temperature control, logistics, TCL related investments, and on different other things of the cold chain logistics system we'll be talking about. I have already been introduced. I'm the CEO of Citibank PLC, one of the first generation large banks of the country, where IFC World Bank is the single largest shareholder, and we are also the American Express of Bangladesh. Investment wise, these two big foreign investors are there in the bank, but if you look at the lending portfolio of the bank, which is $6 billion US, there I don't have even $500,000 worth of money given to the cold storage system. So, that says the importance this sector is enjoying. We as financiers, the amount of value or attention we are putting into this sector. The 6 crore taka, which is $500,000 US only, in a bank of $6 billion worth of lending assets. So I will further, there are many other issues. I will also intervene as the moderator as time goes by, but let's first hear little bit about the international status of things around this entire TCL, around these cold chain logistics systems, from none other than Tech Advisor of Global Cold Chain Alliance, Mr. James Eason. So I will ask Mr. Eason to take us through a short presentation, case study on the global state of affairs around this TCL subject. Thank you, Eason.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here today with the esteemed guests, everybody in the audience. It's just a privilege to be here. I'm going to start. When I was told I had to do this, did a case study based upon a private sector initiative in Kenya. However, I want to go back and put this into context. 15 years ago, I moved to Africa, all right? 2015, President Obama wanted to make a difference in his home country. So we did a feasibility study, we being GCCA, along with the U.S. Department of Commerce, to identify the low-hanging fruit in TCL. This made the Kenyan government became very intrigued about the cold chain, wanted to market it, wanted to get it going, and became very conducive for investment in the TCL. However, in 2015, they were doing $200 million of export in horticulture and in floriculture. They were exporting flowers. After the initiative by the Obama administration, you're looking at that same industry has went from 200 million to 1 billion annually. And floriculture is at 1 billion annually. That is all because of the investment at the airports in JKIA and around the city of Nairobi to create cold chain awareness and also develop professional cold chain. Another thing, the Horticulture Crop and Development Association of Kenya also created small and medium-sized enterprises where they would share small cold storages with the farmers. And this became very conducive for the French beans, the horticulture, and fed right into the export market. And even now, they're investing greatly. I know of a fund for 10 warehouses in East Africa. So that brings me to 2018. I was reached out by a company to take over a infrastructure that was built for oil and gas. This is a complete different warehouse. It's nothing to do with TCL. I retrofitted a cold storage on the backside of it. We branded the entire part food logistic part. But one thing we did have, and this is somewhat created a successful story, is we had a sister company was the largest importer exporter of East Africa, but we could not charge them. We just had to do the work. All right. So what I wanted to do is show you from 2015 to current what the government and private sector actually has done. And then this is a private sector example. What we did as a company now, inside of the atmosphere that the partnership between the US government and the Kenyan government actually created, where we could understand the market. Understanding the market is you got 55 million people, but only 10% of them have the purchasing power to afford cold storage or cold chain. However, you have a large tourist market, you have a large expat market, and you have a large export market. So they're generating revenue and creating funds for this country based upon the market that they had. We had to understand who was controlling production. This is always not clear in developing country. So you had to build relationship with people that may or may not be in that country. Who was the beneficial cargo owners? A lot of times this was the shipping lines. This was not food production. This was not the typical developed market. So the shipping lines control a lot of the cargo. We had to identify the targeted link in the cold chain, which was basically HoReCa, high-end markets, imported foods, and these types of things. So we implemented high standards. Took me about a year and a half to implement BRC, which is British Retail Consortium Storage and Distribution, which is the largest or best certification for cold storage. One thing we did do is take our time. We were methodical. Now, access to capital for this particular business case was we had shareholders with deep pockets, okay, just to be honest. So they also had a belief that they wanted to pay everything up front. They did not really want to finance all the time. And just that's sometimes an obstacle for some people, but these guys believe that interest rates and these types of things was something they didn't want to pay. All right, so you run across that. But because of how the market is in East Africa, you can't just set up one business model. Like here you have a potato warehouse. That just doesn't work in Africa. You know, the burden on that commodity is too much. In other words, you're raising the price of that commodity based upon your capex and your building and all of these things. So we had to create operating models, 4PL, 3PL. You know, sometimes I'm working as a 3PL, sales, whatever. Sometimes I'm working as a 4PL for somebody else to do all the work, or sometimes I'm working for a 4PL. So these were models that we set up so we could actually maximize. So now I'm going to put it in context a little more. We started with 3,000 pallet position warehouse, 2018. Year and a half took to get the standards, took to put the paperwork in place, get the human resources trained, all of these things. All right? Sorry about that. Okay, I hit the clicker. So anyway, we ended up doing our own demographics study. We did our own retail. These are all actual partners that we ended up with, okay? Before I left there in 2021, I worked 3.5 years in this industry. We signed a joint venture with the largest shipping line in the world. And we acted as a 3PL, they acted as a 4PL. We took it from 3,000 pallet position cold storage to 14,500 in less than 3 years. We ended up with Turkish importers, everything. But the key to it was that we were in an environment set by the Kenyan government with the facilitation of the U.S. government, helping to create an environment where small, medium-sized enterprises could actually benefit. Remember, a 3PL cold storage is no different than what Uber called shared economy or ride share, right? 3PL basically is multiple clients into the same warehouse where you share the burden of the cost of that capital expenditures and that operating expenditures. So we were quite successful. But this shows you how the private sector and the public sector actually works together to be a successful story. And that was what I was asked to do here. And I believe one other thing that really changed the game for us, we had to understand the standards. Kenya went into Food Safety 1754, implemented all new ones, created special economic zones in Mombasa and in Naivas, around Nairobi, created export processing zones specifically for small and medium-sized enterprises to export, and then they did an agribusiness designation. So this means they classified cold storage and cold chain as agribusiness. Automatically in the legislation of Kenya means that becomes duty-free. So what happened was, once your racking, your insulated panel, all the equipment it takes to build that, you package that into one PO, you're basically saving 65% of duties and taxes. Because duties on cold storage equipment before that was 40%, and on certain other items it was 25, all right, pallets and things of that nature. Once we could package pallets, racking, insulated panels into a PO, we saved 65%, so we knew where we was expanding to, so we bought 5 times as much as we actually needed for that certain project. So now that company has 5 to 7 years worth of supplies at a discounted rate. So this was one of the crucial items to make us competitive in a market. Plus, you know, we went green energy, we did all of this. So it made us competitive in a market that was controlled by the airport. We were not in the airport. We were one of the first major cold storages and cold chain company to be outside of the airport and to be successful. And so there's at least 15 to 20 investors right now looking at that area because of the success of that company. All right? And that is, I only had 10 minutes. I think I explained that pretty well, did I not?
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Eason. Thank you for ending it in time. And thank you for being so eye-opening for us. Now let's learn something about the state of affairs in Bangladesh. You know, I already highlighted or talked a little bit about, you know, by giving an example of how much of my lending portfolio goes into TCL. You know, I told you about where the banks are important partners and how less we are doing. Before I proceed to the next presenter, you know, I'd like to share another thing that, you know, how many of you here know that there are 2 central banks, you know, very much affordable lending rate wise, you know, programs which allows refinance, Green Transformation Fund of 500 million US dollar worth of 5,000 crore taka, 10-year fund, 5% rate, and Technology Development Fund, Tech Development Fund, TDF, which is another 100 million US dollar worth of fund. Again, only 5% is the lending rate, you know, for 5% rate for the customers. But both these funds, and I've checked yesterday, hardly one single taka has gone into cold storages or, you know, cold chain related, you know, logistic systems. But I will not take away the thunder of the next presenter, who will talk about our country scenario now. And he is Mr. Rafiqul Islam, Director of Bonton Foods. Bonton Foods is engaged in cold storage development, cold storage infrastructure building. So, Mr. Rafiqul Islam, your time is another 10 minutes, sir. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I thanks to BIDA and USDA to organize such type of conference. I think this is very important now for our country to develop our cold chain infrastructure. First, I introduce my company, Bonton Express Limited. Bonton Express Limited built in 2012, but we go to operation from 2017, and now 2024. In this period, almost 6 to 7 years, I, thanks to God, Alhamdulillah, were very good. We are actually, if I told, then first we start very small warehouse and 1 or 2 vehicle, frozen vehicle. But now we have a cold storage, 500 metric ton capacity, multi-purpose cold storage we have. And also 18 plus vehicle, freezer van actually. And this is a 500 kg to 10 ton capacity freezer van we have. And now we are serving all international chain hotel and restaurant. Sorry, like KFC, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Burger King, Fish and Co. All international chain, they use our cold storage and also our transport facilities. And Bonton Express Limited, I think they are first integrated cold chain service provider in Bangladesh. So day by day, our demand is increasing. Just I see my presentation. There is 6,000 plus pallet position in our cold storage, and we are serving 30 plus cities, and we have 2 warehouse. One is multi-purpose cold storage and one is dry warehouse. And 18 plus freezer van we have. And also 30,000 square feet land area we have. But now presently we are using 86,000 cubic feet area only for cold storage. And we are serving 50 plus cities and towns, and we have total 70 plus people. They are working for us. Almost we are delivering 60,000 plus per month. We are delivering 60,000 plus. Please go to next. And our advantage is Bonton Express presence with strategically located A-grade warehousing. And we are swift reach to all strategic market and state-of-the-art infrastructure with 24/7 support. We are giving 24/7 support to all our vendors. Based in class technology and operating platforms we have, and we are using ERP driven operations. Diverse range of source to store service solutions, company-owned infrastructure and vehicles. Command center of chamber temperature maintaining and control access across Bangladesh. Customized solutions and designs and group offerings. Our services, 3 PL service and 5 PL services we have. Transport management we have, warehousing and inventory management, imports, vendor development and sourcing, order management. So we are giving 5 PL service to our customers. So please go to next. Our solutions, what we are giving to our customers. Connecting business, private transportation, warehousing facilities, last minute content supply, networking, and dedicated warehousing. So go to next page. Operational capabilities. We have 1,000 plus pallet handling average monthly, 300 plus trips per month, and 200 plus customers across served, and 200 plus vendor partners. So go next. Technology, we are using our modern technology, Microsoft Dynamic 365 Business Center technology we are using. Transport management system we are using. 24/7 command center we are using. Online chamber monitoring, water management system. If any our customers or vendor want to see their product temperature, what their temperature in our store, they can see anywhere from our country. So that this system also we are using. So go to next. We have audit system. Every year we are auditing in our warehouse. One is our internal audit and another is external audit. So external audit is doing from they come international our vendors like Pizza Hut, KFC, from Yum, and also from Burger King. Their people comes to our country and visit our store and they audit our store. Also, we have internal auditing system we have. So thank you so much for inviting me in this conference. Thanks. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rafiqul Islam, for ending even before time. So good to know about Bonton Foods. Thank you. Now we will go to the main session. We will go to this panel discussion. You all know about the subject matter, which is again TCL, which is very simple, the cold chain logistics system. We're talking about the infrastructure, Obo Katamo here. But I actually should have done it earlier. There is a session chair, our Honorable Senior Secretary, Mr. MD Mustafa Kamal from Ministry of Shipping. He will also participate in the discussion with us. Also there is Mr. Navid Safiullah, Additional Secretary, just sitting right beside me on my left. Additional Secretary of Ministry of Commerce. There is also Khandakar Nazmul Haq, we know each other from before. First Secretary of National Board of Revenue. He is there at that far end, just beside Mr. Rafiqul Islam. Then there is also my very close associate, regulator of the banks. He is a very renowned man, Executive Director of Central Bank Bangladesh, Bangladesh Bank. We call it Mr. Kobir Ahmed, very knowledgeable person. So he is sitting there beside the session chair. And we also have with us Mr. Ishtiaq Ahmed, who is the Vice President of, Mr. Ishtiaq Ahmed is the Vice President of Bangladesh Cold Storage Association, sitting beside Mr. James Eason, who happens to be the Global Cold Chain Alliance Tech Advisor. So thank you, the total 5 speakers who will be talking about this. As we go along, I will intervene. We right now need government level intervention so that this industry flourish, so that this industry sets itself up. So from my level of intervention will come as we go along. So first I would hand over the microphone to session chair to what you call it, to roll out the session. Session chair, Mr. Mustafa Kamal, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Shipping.
Thank you very much, all the panelists and the moderator. Dear audience, We have seen two presentations actually on the light of their own area. But to tell you frankly, I may not be very confined with the issue of discussion. I want to give you some area to thought beyond the subject. You see, a year before, I have joined the International Logistics Conference in Germany, Berlin, and a lot of issues we come to know from there. The thing is that we are here in Bangladesh, and very much our target is Bangladesh and the business in Bangladesh. The cold chain is nothing new in our country. In my front, a leader of FBCCI is here, and I think the Cold Store Association leaders are here. You see, once in around Bangladesh, lot of cold storage was established in different country, in different district of Bangladesh, like Jaipur Hat, Bogura, Munshiganj, Kumilla area. And if you go in the field, you see the cold storage are now closed. Most of the cold storage. Because I am exploring here in this country, number of cold storage I can give even the address. They are not working. At the same time, we have our fishery industry that is totally depends on cold chain based, especially the shrimp industry. How they closed and what is the consequences? Somehow they could not continue with their business and they took the liability because the government bank were the ultimate financer. Right, our last industrial bank, agricultural development bank, and all these banks were. If you see the area Khulna, Khulna is a shrimp cultivated area, and there are cold storage. Even I was deputy commissioner at Khulna for more than 1 year. I have visited and I get entered inside the cold storage. What is there? I have seen. After the corona period, and sometimes before the corona period, lot of shrimp industry, cold store are now shut down. I know some, I'm not telling the whole name, Mr. Mullah, he sold his personal property to adjust the bank loan. And this is the situation in the background. But we are, of course, thinking the progressiveness of tomorrow's Bangladesh. We are graduating from LDC to developing country. Of course, I do thank the BIDA and all bankers here because you are here to bail out this sector again in its order. And I think so. We shall be successful. So our cold storage for potatoes, our cold storage for fisheries, our cold storage for shrimp industries, and all these industrialists, you need to hear from these people in the field. You need to back them in their business. Because I am for last 32 years in civil service working with all these people in the field. We have our EPZ industries. EPZ industries enjoy all kind of facilities offered by the government. I don't know how many cold chain industry are there inside the EPZ. You know it very well. So we are, one thing I can add, we are going to establish the Bay Terminal, the biggest export, the seaport of Bangladesh, the Bay Terminal at Chittagong. PSA Singapore with support of IFC will be there. DP World will be there, and Chittagong Port will build a 1,500 meter terminal there. So this will help us to give a rethink on the design for establishing the cold chain for both import and export. This is in a very simple comment. I want to just finish for now. Thank you very much.
No. Thank you, sir. Actually, you have already set the tone. Big round of applause, please. You spoke so well. Now, and he spoke about potato. I don't know if you know about it or not. There are roughly 400 members under Bangladesh Cold Storage Association, of which 90 to 95% of those storage facilities are used for only potato storage. We need to go beyond that. We need to not get stuck into only that. Now, what we need exporting to happen. Mainly food and beverage products. Why not others also? I know I have customers, those who deal with mango pulp, those who deal with the minced meat, those who deal with chicken balls. Then there is also we are a big mango growing country. There are also post-harvest losses of crops and all, but I will not go into that. I will come to export basically and offer the microphone to the person sitting beside me. So fisheries, meat, dairy, processed food wise, there are so many things we can do on the exporting side. If there are right kind of facilities, right kind of storage infrastructure was there near to the port, near to where people need it, where the businessmen need it. As far as the investors are concerned, there are investors like you who are from abroad. Also internally this economy is growing at a phenomenal rate. There are big businessmen, but nobody, it seems like, is much interested into this area, which can thrive if little bit of attention is given. As I said, $600 million worth of refinance, low cost fund is available from central bank, but we bankers don't ever push for it. And now coming to the export side of it, export diversification, riding on the right kind of cold chain infrastructure. The person beside me, Mr. Muhammad Naveed Safiullah, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Commerce. He will talk on export diversification.
Thank you very much, respected moderator, for giving me the floor. Honorable Chair and Senior Secretary, Ministry of Shipping of this session, distinguished panelists, and esteemed participants. Assalamu alaikum, a very good evening to you all. At the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to BIDA and USDA Bangladesh Trade Facilitation Project for organizing such a wonderful and time-befitting program, investment seminar on cold chain, which is a pressing issue these days. And thank you very much also for giving me the floor to share my insights regarding this. We all know that cold chain ecosystem, it is a part of the whole supply chain management, which ensures quality, which also ensures safety. Safety is very important here, and the well-being of the citizens, the consumers. So this is very important, and it has a great impact on the whole society. And as our moderator has told, he has highlighted on the export diversification. We all know that the present government, under the able and prudent leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, has mandated export diversification as one of the priorities of election manifesto. So how important is it? We can imagine very well. And here comes the intervention of the Ministry of Commerce. We all know that there are lots of perishable products such as food, fruits, vegetables, vaccines, and also pharmaceutical products, which go through the process of the entire cold chain management. So this is the area where we need to improve. We need to discuss with each other, collaborate with each other, so that we can improve the whole system. And we all know that Bangladesh is mainly now dependent on RMG sector. But now we are focusing more on how to increase our export basket, and now we are also exploring new markets where we have potential, where we have possibilities to develop new markets, new products. So where Commerce Ministry can intervene? Commerce Ministry can intervene in the area of setting the standards and regulations. We all know that globally there are lots of standards and regulations which all the countries have to follow. In case of food, there is US FDA, which is globally renowned, and in European Union there are also other institutions which look after these issues. So Ministry of Commerce can take up the setting standards issue. It can also facilitate infrastructure. They can invest in cold storage facilities, as very well mentioned by our Honorable Chair of this session. So we need to improve our cold storage. We need to improve and increase these facilities, and refrigerated transportation to ensure that our perishable products reach safely without any problem, or it becomes rotten. It reaches before that. From the Ministry of Commerce, we need to emphasize on negotiating trade agreements with other countries to facilitate the smooth export of high quality food products, including provisions for maintaining the integrity in the cold chain. Integrity and ethical issues are also very important when it comes to cold storage, in this arena. Then we need to support the exporters. We need to provide support and assistance to them, including training programs on cold chain logistics and quality control measures, so that they can meet the international standards. And by fulfilling these roles, the Commerce Ministry can help ensure that high quality food products, we have lots of tropical fruits such as mango. Our mango, our lychee, they have unique quality and taste. Different countries produce mangoes, but Bangladeshi mango is unique in itself. And nowadays we export mangoes in many European countries and elsewhere around the world. But to ensure the quality and to ensure that it doesn't get perished, we need to ensure proper cold chain and the supply chain. And here Ministry of Commerce can intervene. And another important issue is logistics, which has been mentioned earlier by our Honorable Chair of this session. Effective logistics management is essential for maintaining the integrity of the cold chain, ensuring that temperature-sensitive products reach their destination safely and remain viable for consumption or use. So that is all from my side. These were the points. I think if we ensure these arenas, then we can enrich our cold chain management system, the whole ecosystem. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Naveed Safiullah. Very well said, very much informative also. So now I'll go to one particular area of this entire talk, which is important, which you know that now or later we will end up talking about that, which is harmonization of import tariffs and reducing of duties on the cold storage equipment in order to create a level playing field for investors and to facilitate the growth of the industry. So basically, before I come into that, there is a representative from NBR here. Let me read out or talk about the challenges, just in 30 seconds. Electricity is a challenge. Real estate infrastructure is a challenge. Mobility, transportation, that's a challenge. Automation is a challenge. Now, now everything manual is still in 2024, and you want to grow or you want to thrive in this sector is impossible. So that's a challenge. For all these challenges to be handled, also we need multi-purpose cold storage. Mango seller, when the mango season is gone, so that he can use the same storage for maybe prawn or meatball. So that is also needs some sort of an import. All these, whatever challenges I mentioned about here, electricity, you may decide that I will go into solar powered cold storage. That also will need some sort of import. Then cross-docking facility, which we talk about the packaging support. For everything there is import, which ultimately should lead to export after the internal consumption. So basically, right kind of import tariffs and right kind of cold storage related duties should be addressed by the government, where basically now we are talking about the government level support. Now to talk about this aspect of the entire issue, I request Mr. Khandakar Nazmul Haq, First Secretary of National Board of Revenue, to shed light on tariffs and duties. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me as a panelist, and it is indeed my pleasure to be here to address such a nice gathering. Honorable Secretary Sir has spent his valuable time to attend this session, so I'm grateful. We are grateful to him. And so, before starting my speech on tariffs rationalization, I would like to say something about the importance of this today's topic. I was present from the morning, and it was an eye-opening session by the keynote presenters and the discussions. So there is no doubt about the importance of cold chain approach. This is a very timely approach. We really concur, we agree with the situation. And some days back we have, if I tell the background, some days back we have made a logistics policy, general logistics policy, which is under process of approval. And that covers all the cold chain logistics also. Logistics is of two types. One is general logistics and one is cold chain logistics. So once that logistic policy is approved, it covers a lot of things which is today's discussion. Say for example, if I tell some products like potato, mangoes, or vegetables, or beef, or chicken, all the things. If I rank globally, we are number 3 to 8 in this production in the whole world. So it is the strength. It is the reason for which we have to focus on logistics, because there is some system loss about 12.5% due to the lack of the cold facilities. So as far as NBR is concerned, because I am here to tell about something about the NBR issues. One thing I want to assure the investors, that is, the NVR is under process of modernization, and it is growing so fast. If I mention some reforms, like the recent times we have introduced risk management commissionerate, we have introduced authorized economic operators, we have introduced electronic payment. All the things are actually for the purpose of clearing the goods in a faster way. So that is, NVR is growing very hard, very fast. At the same time, automation, some of you might have known that within a very short time, we are going to introduce a national single window. National single window is a kind of tool which acts as an umbrella, and about 36 government agencies will work under the umbrella so that you can get all the licenses, import licenses, or the quarantine certificates, LC issues, all the things will be covered in one umbrella. So NSW is a very big tool for the investors to consider to invest in this sector. Second important thing is about the rates and duties of these types of equipments. You will be very happy to know that the industrial chiller and the cold room facilities, the product, prefabricated cold room facilities have been reduced to the %1. That is 1% duty. By paying 1% duty, you the investors, you the business peoples can hopefully import this type of industrial chiller and other, and I have mentioned about the prefabricated cool facilities. Besides, there are some issues like compressors, like condensers, like evaporators, like refrigerated van, which is very important. Because we are not talking about only cold storage, we are talking about cold chain. So one cold storage is done, you have to make the supply chain smooth and it needs facilities. So the refrigerated van need to be addressed. And from today's discussion, from the learning that I have made today, I will bring it to the notice of the Competent Authority of NBR so that they can consider it. So that the refrigerated van is a huge duty, so that can be considered, or the NBR can intervene in such issues. There are another points is that facilities of off-docks. There are about 26, 25 or something like that off-docks in Chittagong, besides Chittagong port, and it is confined to 37 items. Which allows 37 items to be imported. This number of products can also be increased. That can be increased. And in the recent time, in the logistic policy, that there is recommendation, or there is in the policy draft, the number of products is to be increased. Third one important is the facilities, because once you import the goods or once you export the goods, you need some chemical lab facilities like plant quarantine certificates, like BSTI. So this type of facilities also need to be addressed, which also NBR can intervene or regulate or can consider for the investment opportunities. So hopefully these are the issues like tariff rationalization. So from today's learning, I will bring it to the notice of the authority of NBR and authority so that they can consider in the upcoming budget. And thank you very much for giving me time to tell something about tariff rationalization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Khandekar Nazmul Haq. He spoke eloquently, spoke very well. I hope NBR will. I hope NBR, where he works in an important position. I hope NBR will soon look into these issues. Like I had a data here, which I wanted to share with you that for the ice cream producers, their duty is 26%, whereas such a low tariff, whereas if you bring chillers, it is 77%. So these are the things, which he also spoke, needs to be addressed, needs to be revisited so that the entire businessman community, ask yourself why a $7 billion lending book has only 6 crore taka, $500,000 into cold chain. Businessmen are facing impediments of different natures and kinds. One is this tariffs and taxes and duties. So I hope, as he promised that, he will talk to his seniors, the decision-making body. He is part of that as well. So we look forward to seeing that happening. Now coming to the industry where I belong, our regulator is here, Bangladesh Banks, very competent executive director, Mr. Kabir Ahmed. I told you that central banks, concessional refinancing schemes are there, but maybe the credit quotas given to us, that X percentage should be lent out to this sector, X to Y to that sector. Maybe credit quota is not here. Maybe that is the need of the time. Maybe so that we give priority, we the practitioners, the bankers give it priority. And I think, overall, I would like to say from Ministry of Commerce, our honored guest is here. I think overall, central bank may play a big role in actually, recognizing this as an industry. The minute it is recognized as an industry, immediately all the benefits of being in an industry follows, the taxations, the labor rights, everything then follows suit. So no longer from my side, I will directly now request, from the central bank perspective, how do we address these issues? I think awareness is one. We bankers are not really aware. I think that is also one. But over to Mr. Kabir Ahmed, ED, Executive Director of Bangladesh Bank.
So thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. At first, I would like to thank Honorable Session Chair Mustafa Kamal, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Shipping. Also, great presenter Mr. Masroor, CEO, Citibank, the Citibank Limited, or PLC, and distinguished audience. So I think that today's topic is really, really important for the country as a whole because that we are now, the country is suffering from inflation and central bank is trying hard to tame the inflation by various policy measures, the country follows and this moment, contractionary monetary policy, still you see that we are still struggling to maintain or contain inflation. So one of the area of inflation is food inflation, actually, and this is actually hurting the poor people, poor people of the country, and also is restrained us to achieve our sustainable development goal. And also here, so I think that here the cold chain infrastructure has huge contribution to tame the inflation, as you see. And also from food security perspective, this cold chain infrastructure has a contribution, and someone has also said that okay, we have producing huge vegetables, and we have a huge potential to export those, and we can earn foreign reserves. So and also you see that if we can store agricultural products, maybe our input will be less, and our reserves, as you see that reserves has a risk, country is suffering, and we will be able to mitigate those kind of risks. So also, as you see that high value crops, we can store here. Also here the forecast is that the food price will be higher in the coming years and these years also. And India is also taking precautionary measures, so certainly it will affect our country as well. So my understanding is this, that today's seminar is seminal important for the economic development and sustainable development of the country. Having said that, as our CEO is repeatedly saying that banking sector is not responding to the, or not aware or unable to create a market demand for cold chain infrastructure in Bangladesh. He has rightly mentioned that actually from SME department, we have up to now disbursed 375 billion taka, roughly 3.7 billion US dollar, but a little part of has gone to the, I think, a cold chain infrastructure, and here interest rate is also very low, 4 to 7%, very much subsidized, but we are unable to create a market demand. So where is the problem, as our senior secretaries are also indicate, something is there. So maybe there's some business model might have some problem, or maybe we are unable to create a business environment. So what can we do? Here, I think in terms of business model, we can have a joint venture enterprises so that we can actually, enjoy the technology. As you see, that this kind of industry has latest technology, and as Honorable Prime Minister wants to have a smart Bangladesh, and so we need to have a smart cold chain infrastructure in the country. So that can be, from the business model perspective, it can be one solution. So from the other perspective, I say that this area also enters into the area of climate change adaptation fund. So this fund can be here used here to create awareness. So we can create a fund for green climate change adaptation promotion fund. So what we can do there, by this fund, we can actually go for regional seminar. For example, in Bangladesh, as you say, that has some natural advantage in different areas, local areas. For example, northern area is very much, productive in agricultural output. In southern area is very much in fish production, and northeast area also high value crops. So considering those, we can arrange seminar, and also you see that each kind of products has a different kind of cold chain infrastructure needed. So we need to identify those type of cold region specific and product specific cold chain infrastructure necessity. And then we can design seminar combining with, I think, business, business people, including bankers and also regulators. And then we can also, from central bank point of view, we can establish another fund, Green Credit Guarantee Scheme we can start. So that that this financing is actually to some extent risky. So to mitigate this risk from the PFI, I mean that financial institutions, we can allocate some fund to give guarantee. So it will be in the area of Green Credit Guarantee Scheme, I feel. And then another interesting area, I feel that here, you see that Bangladesh Bank has developed more than 70 green products, and these are actually, we have a special fund to finance these products. But here, these funds are not included. I think the gold chain infrastructures products are not included. So if they can develop the gold chain infrastructure products, then we can, from Bangladesh Bank perspective, we can include those products in our as a green finance products, and then those entrepreneurs will get easy access to the fund, and the fund will be very much subsidized. And also here, you see that I think that donor agency, their development partners can contribute, as you know that Bangladesh, this fund will be actually, the climate change risk has two parts. One is mitigation and another is climate change adaptation fund. So government may ask the donor agency or to allocate climate change adaptation fund to this scheme, and then maybe that fund can be then distributed through a hybrid model. Hybrid model, it can be public-private partnership, or it can be like, for example, at this moment, government is providing fund to the central bank. Central bank is actually providing to the fund to the financial institutions, and they are actually providing fund to the entrepreneurs. So this can be one of the model where central bank can play a vital role. As I think there's some, already has mentioned that potato, tomato, fresh vegetables, fish, even in northern area, I see that milk processing industry is very much essential. I feel that even there, they produce huge milk, but there is a huge price disparity between northern area and the Dhaka city. In Dhaka city, there is huge demand, and there is surplus. So here we can also mitigate this kind of risk. So I think there, my understanding is that first we need to develop a sound business model, sound and viable business model, as suggested by our Honorable Secretary Sir, Mustafa Kamal Sir. And then we can go for financing part. Financing part needs to be intervened by the government and the development agency, and that should be, I think, the subsidized credit at this moment, as we want to, I mean that, as Sir said, that default rate is very high in the country, and interest rate is very high, and now 12% plus. And also, as mentioned, that price of electricity is high already, and it is going up. So from my perspective, if someone, takes bank loan and go for establishing this kind of business will not be viable. So government intervention, central bank, and other policymakers, as already mentioned, subsidy, tax subsidy, those kind of things are essential to make a combined effort for the industry going forward. That's from me, my side. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Kabir Ahmed, our Executive Director of Central Bank. We look forward to the day where, Central Bank also, jointly by talking to the commercial banking sector, together we come up with tactical plus strategic, financing kind of plan, focusing on this particular very important area. Now, thank you, sir. Now we are at the very last leg of today's panel discussion. Our last person who will speak is none other than the Cold Storage Association Vice President. So I think, just to give him a little bit of a provocation, I think, he can talk about the different challenges they are facing. We know about the challenges, Yesterday, since I was preparing about this, I was talking to some businessman from Rajshahi. He was saying that my major challenge is that I actually need construction advisory services. I said, wow, why are you talking about that? He said that engineering design around cold chain has totally changed, Mashur Bhai. It has changed. So, immediately I wrote it down that, also we're talking at a Hotel Westin. We're talking about, he doesn't know the adequate number of the equipment providers who are very big in the world, who can really, set up sustainable modern day multi-purpose cold storage facilities. So this is one, then there is refrigeration technology, which is changing. The handling equipments are changing. The racking equipments have seen changes. So in this entire area, we are behind. So I think, he is very much on the ground, like our Bonton guest speaker. He is on the ground. They can add real value. They can actually talk about what they need. Is it finance? In Bangladesh, finance is not a challenge. There are so many banks with so much of money. But if you need dollar lending, that's also there. And you talk about the import-related hurdles now because of FX-related issues. That issue is also getting resolved. Nowadays, again, all the banks are becoming more self-sufficient in terms of earning dollars from remittances and exports. The figures are going up. I mean to say the finance issue is the last issue. Central bank is so much progressive in their mentality that if I belong to the association, I'm the vice chairman of the Bank CEOs Association, they listen to us. And we have never seen that they listen to us so much now as they are listening to us on different issues. Our current governor is very much mentality-wise progressive. So I think beyond financing, there are issues that I have already highlighted, issues that he knows, like I can again say, just 30 seconds, recently, the cold storage, permission and policy, the setup of cold chain in port areas, that was a demand. And only government can do that, no one else can. And in Dhaka, in new airport, there is only one, and that's run by the government. And this is not really helping us. Say like permissible items in the ICDs. 19 ICDs in the country, 37 items, almost no perishable goods allowed. So now I will not steal the thunder from him, the vice president of the association, Mr. Ishtiaq Ahmed.
Thank you. To start with, my thanks to BIDA and USDA for organizing this conference, investment conference on cold chain. And I will try to uh, share my experience, my thoughts, and hopefully, will when I leave this place, I will actually take something positive. To start with, the cold storage sector in Bangladesh, it is, I would say, it is at its mature stage. So it's more than 70 years old. We have our president, he started his business in 60s. So you can imagine how old it can be. It gives us hope that we are still being able to contribute in the agriculture sector or in the economy, but at the same time, at times there is disappointment. Point number one I would like to share is, and I hope my point is taken on a positive note. Cold chain sector, it is an industry. Whoever is concerned, be it the regulators, the people who will be financing, everyone has to realize that it is a sector. So when we talk about a sector, we have to know how does it operate. In Bangladesh, the cold storage sector till now, it is more of a service provider. And if you take into consideration the current product, which is potato, majority of it, more than 95%, I would say, it's basically potato. So it's one crop and it's only once in a year. So when you talk about a service provider, there are a lot of, I would say, limitations. Maybe if we feel that why are not these facilities being used for other products? Yes, there are possibilities, but for that it requires a lot of knowledge, technical know-how. So when you talk about accepting it as a sector, you will try to think what is the challenges and what is the requirements for this sector. Now I will it's not a question, but I'll just share my thought to the moderator, the MD and CEO of Citibank. Mashrooq Bhai will definitely know that these are two different things. With my due respect to the RMG sector or the textile sector, it's a production-based industry, and the most of the raw materials that are being used are being imported from other countries. So the structuring of finance for a particular industry in a factory, in the garment sector, be it a spinning mill or whatever, it should not be the same for a cold storage. Because nowadays, for a potato cold storage, if I say that the investment has gone up, the initial investment, as far as the infrastructure is concerned, it takes a lot of money. But to cover the cost and to make the payment within a stipulated time, say within 5 years or 60 installments, may not be the logical one. So what do? Do we just shut down the sector? Do we understand the contribution of the sector and try to think otherwise? So as he was saying that the central bank has offered, or it has a program that there is a finance model which is for 10 years and at a lower rate of interest. If something similar was in offer for this sector, maybe then a lot of cold storage owners would have thought of investing into cold storages which could store other or diversified products. Like if I give you an example, we are working on one project thanks to the support we are getting from USDA, LIGSCAP. It's a new product, and for that, we are going through, I would say, the technical aspect. We are being educated, and eventually, the final question will be that after everything, all the assessments are being done, how do you set up the project, or how do you arrange the finance? So if I need to get a finance from a commercial bank and the tenure is for 5 years period, I would say, it will not be a logical one for me. So what do I do? After all the groundwork or, all the assessment, if I just keep it in the file, then it says there. Or if I want to go ahead, then, I'll have to look for finance which is suitable for that particular project. So I sincerely would feel, and I'm talking on behalf of the industry or the sector, that of course, there has been a lot of case or, a lot of example where, if you feel that, okay, this particular project has failed because, it could not pay back. So, it's labeled as a failure case, but, we don't take any, it's not a case study for us. We don't take anything out of it in the sense that, why did it fail? What was wrong with the project? Was it the structuring or the model of the project, or maybe something else? Or maybe, the management behind the project? So yes, I would say the cold chain sector in Bangladesh has got a lot of potentiality, especially if I feel that, the contribution we are making at the moment, even with single product, it's potato, be it the table potato, the seed potato. If you take it into consideration the amount of potato we are storing, starting from the month of Feb or month of March till the month of December, and ensuring the food safety. And also, if you put it in a number that, okay, fine, this quantity, the cost during the loading period or the harvesting period, and at the price during the off season, we can understand the contribution of the sector. So similarly, our sector can contribute more, in terms of food safety, in terms of appreciating the efforts of farmers, because we have farmers in Bangladesh growing, you name any product, but in a very small quantity, because he feels that whatever he grows, he'll have to sell it during the harvesting period, and because there is not a storing facility. So if he was given that support that, okay, fine, there is a facility where you can store the product, or maybe, if you can grow in a bigger quantity, there will be someone to buy it and to store it in the cold storages, then maybe he could have earned more money, and in terms of general consumers, they could have had a particular item throughout the year at a very competitive price. So I can go on and on about the contributions of the sector which it can make. So I can say that there should be more such dialogues where we can let whoever is concerned, because it feels great that the representative from the central bank, from the NBR, they are here, and I get the chance to share my thoughts. So if possible, there should be more such dialogues, and with more time, where we can actually express in details that what the sector can contribute and what are the supports it requires. So this is in a nutshell, what I can say. In my conclusion, I would like to point out 2-3 areas where definitely we should take a look. Maybe someone was saying that we don't have the facilities, the storing facility in Chittagong. Chittagong port, it is the biggest port till now. We don't have a specialized cold storage. Sorry, I'll just take 1 minute. So basically, we are not helping the importers or the small exporters, be it the vegetable growers or anyone who's into the processed food sector, because all the support that company can get is the services of the reefer van. So we have to look beyond this. So that is it from my side. Thank you very much for your patience hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Ishtiaq Ahmed, quite a knowledgeable person in this area, quite vibrantly and eloquently he expressed, the challenges, the obstacles association and the businessmen involved in it are facing. But on the banking side, what Mr. Ishtiaq Ahmed said, I can answer him that all it needs is a bankable business plan. From the customer side. So, you do your own studies and come up with a good business plan. Leave the financial modeling part up to us. We are experts in deal structuring. RMG deal and its whole financing is different from power sector financing. We are into that. Power sector financing is totally different from agricultural financing. We are into that. There are many other sectors, a bank doesn't lend only to RMG sector. If you look at Citibank's $7 billion lending book, only little more than 1 billion is into RMG. The rest money is into different other sectors. So leave it to us on the structuring side, in which way we will structure in a way so that you are being helped. So that, your cash flow generates more and you can repay also in time and we can continuously give you support. So there are different complexities. I will not harp on that or go into that. I would simply like to say that we are there. Central bank is there with funds. We have not utilized it. So your association, the cold storage businessmen, ask them to go to the banks. If you try to find it difficult to go to the banks, come to Citibank. I will send you to other banks as well. So that together, because I represent association also as this vice chairman. So please don't worry about structuring 5 বছর, 10 বছর, 5 years, 10 years in which format. If you need dollars, there is ADBs of the world, FMO, DEG, IFC. Dollars are there in most of the banks on dollar liquidity side. Bangladesh has no liquidity crisis. Bangladesh has crisis on exchange. Converting dollar into taka. There's two totally different issues, So liquidity side, no issue. It will be dollar to dollar lending. If you want that, we are there. On taka side, there are many good banks who are ready with money. And I will take money from central bank. From them, they have two great programs going on. So that's on that side. Other than that, challenges are too many. All of you are experts here. I can only say, before I sign off and I don't come back with the microphone and I give it to the session chair to end it in short few minutes, I would like to thank the organizers, those who have invited me. It's like an eye-opener for me as well. You all know them. There is Board of Investment. Let us give a big clap for BIDA, Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, and also the Bangladesh Trade Facilitation BTF project funded by the US Department of Agriculture. For organizing this, this is what Association Vice President was saying. Dialogues will help. Dialogues will, get the ball rolling. I look forward to that day as a banker. And now over to the session chair, Mr. MD Mustafa Kamal, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Shipping, who will conclude the session. Thank you.
Okay. I was asking the moderator. So time is a factor, and we apologize for that. Finally, it is continuing. It is continuing. We'll have a lot of opportunity in coming days because the claims from different panelists. Yes, I can entitle you a good minute of 60 seconds, please. You can, yes.
Without address, my name is Syed Muazzam Hussain. Just I want to tell, cold chain means from harvesting to end of the customer, the food products or whatever is the product is going to hand, That is a fully cold chain. So we must follow these things, number one. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, I want to just draw an attention. You see our neighboring country, India, what they are doing in the cold chain. Even Central Bank, I can request him to just go through the India, what facilities they are giving for this cold chain. And our NBS say 12.5% is wastage. For your information, in Bangladesh, there is no statistics, proper statistics, but it is 25 to 40% case by case is the wastage of the country of the products, which is the food products, vegetable products, and even then. So these are the things you have to think. Regarding the onion, just I am saying, the onion is now harvesting time.
Okay,
Still-
Mr. Mojam, I'm requesting you. We all
1 minute,
knows.
1 minute, sir.
We all knows all these things you are telling to us, and for this seminar is here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
I have given that 30 seconds from my space part. Okay, and I am saying a good thank you to everyone, Bida and the moderator especially for his excellent moderation. Thing is that this is not cold store, not of other cold business. This is a whole chain. I am concluding with an illustration. I was in the health ministry during COVID period. We come forward with vaccine, of Oxford AstraZeneca. And that time, we faced the most difficult issue with the cold chain. How we can maintain our vaccines and carry from carry to storage to distribution in every sense. So cold chain is not only an issue for onion or potatoes or fishes, as we told. It's a total business. And the moderator offered from everyone, come with good proposal of business, and finance will not be a problem. So we hope we shall sit together once again, and from FBCCI and our business communities, our development partners, our bankers, everyone, we should work for the Bangladesh of 2041, where the cold chain will not be a problem at all. We need to establish a perfect cold chain for smooth running of a country. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, respected session chair, moderators, panelists, and presenters. Thanks to all our distinguished guests in the audience for bearing with us. We have taken careful note of your suggestions. There are refreshments outside if anybody is interested still. Thank you so much for joining our Cold Chain Investment Conference organized by BIDA and USDA Bangladesh Trade Facilitation Project. Thank you.